Greetings from IAS. Welcome to the United in Diversity program that we air from here, IAS in Silang, Cavite, Philippines. We want to welcome you to this very special program where we explore Pakistan. Pakistan is one of those interesting countries that demonstrates the Muslim culture. And I think today we're going to take a very interesting journey with my two friends who come from Pakistan. But before we start, I want to make it clear that views expressed on this program don't reflect IAS. They are simply opinions and views of our participants. So if you have questions or opinions or concerns, please do not send them to IAS. Send them to me, and I'll be sharing with you our email address at the end of the program. Let's welcome our new participants from Pakistan. At this point, I want you to introduce yourself, which part of Pakistan you come from, and what you're doing here, and how long you've been here at IAS.
My name is Eric Gulzar, and I come from Sahiwal. It is in the province of Punjab, southern Punjab, and I came here for Master Divinity program, and I'm going to stay here for 2 years.
Very good. How long have you been here?
For a month now, I think so.
4 months?
For a month.
For 1 month?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're still discovering the Philippines. How far have you gone in the Philippines?
Not much, just to the market and come back home.
I see. You are definitely a guest. Very good, very good. Let's welcome the next guest.
My name is Akif Javed, and I come from the same province, Punjab, but I live a little further, like closer to the airport, you can say. Okay. So it's just 2-hour drive to there, where we have our campus, the seminary. And it's been 2.5 years I'm here in the Philippines, okay, and it's been good.
And what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm taking MDiv program.
Oh, very good, very good. Did you know each other before you came to the Philippines?
Yes, he has been my senior in the college.
And now you are his senior here at IAS.
Sort of, yes.
Actually, when I was studying BBA, Bachelor Business Administration, he was studying in 7th class when I started my program.
Okay.
So after completing my BBA, I started Bachelor Theology, because after baptism, I decided that I will become the servant of God.
Oh,
That's
wow.
why I decided to do Bachelor Theology.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. Welcome. We want to welcome you all the way from Pakistan. Let me help us a little bit. How far is Pakistan from the Philippines? How many hours is your flight?
I flew for maybe 13 hours.
Yeah, I believe he has already forgotten because he's been here 2.5 years, right?
So I think the exact time is actually 8 hours.
Okay.
But when you have the transit, because of
okay.
that, it becomes the flight is 13 to 12 hours. But the exact is almost 8 hours.
Okay. Help us a little bit. Akif, I think you can do this. Help us a little bit. What are the countries surrounding Pakistan so that people can visualize that in their brain?
India, the biggest. Then
Okay.
there's
India
China.
to the east, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then there's China. And
To the north, to the south, to the...
I'm not good at that.
All right. That will most likely be the north.
Right. Yeah, China is in the north, and
Okay.
then it's Afghanistan also in the north
Okay.
of Pakistan.
Okay. And in the south, we have anything?
Do we
Okay.
have something there?
Yes, Iran in the south.
Okay. So you're surrounded by Afghanistan, China, and India.
And if we go furthermore, cross the sea, then you can go to the Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. So you, Pakistan, what is the percentage of Muslims in Pakistan?
It's the dominating. It's 95 to 97%.
Okay.
And in numbers, I think it's around, I don't know, it's approximate somewhere one something, I don't know. It's a lot of millions.
Wow. Wow.
According to the recent census which took place in Pakistan, total population of Pakistan is maybe 21 crore. It's nearly 200 million.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. What is so unique about Pakistan? When you say Pakistan, you've been here 2.5 years, Akif, and you say, I'm from Pakistan. I miss Pakistan. What comes to your mind? What is unique about Pakistan?
Well, if I say that I miss Pakistan for something, it's the biggest thing is I think the food.
Oh.
And because in Philippines it's really hard to find Paki food or that kind of cuisine. And if it is like what is unique about it, I think in the light of what has been the image of the country, I think we have a really good hospitality. So unique about Pakistan is the people, and as compared to other countries, yes, there's also the same thing. Philippines is also a very hospitable country, but as being giving the unique sense, I think so I think it's the people. They're really hospitable. If any foreigner, black, white, doesn't matter, they go, they meet the local people, it's gonna be a different experience. Yeah. So in the light of the image that we have, is unique, that the hospitality is there.
You know, I think I agree with you. I have 3 close Pakistani friends, and all of them, whenever I go to their house, even if I didn't tell them I was coming, they will never ever allow me to leave their house without eating. So I think you are definitely right. At least from the 3 that are really, really close to me, I have seen that with my personal experience. Anything else that is unique about Pakistan?
Unique about Pakistan that if you really want to see heaven on the earth, you can go into the northern areas of Pakistan like Swat, Kagan, Skardu. They are so much beautiful areas, and especially Kashmir. You are very familiar with the Kashmir, and half of the Kashmir is in Pakistan. So I can say that Pakistan is very beautiful. This is something unique about Pakistan.
You know, that is, again, for those who get their information from the media, from the news, that doesn't sound like what we have read in the news. And again, this is the reason why, as a scholarly community, we really need to learn to dig deeper to get information, because we may be easily misinformed. You know, that Pakistan, if you're looking at it from the news perspective, it wouldn't have been the place where I would have expected somebody to say it's very beautiful and very friendly people. Because what we'll find on CNN will be like, okay, you don't want to go there. I have a friend who is a missionary to Pakistan right now. I remember him telling me some experiences where the bullets will be flying through the wall and things like that. But obviously, it's not all over Pakistan. It's just a few places where you have that. Just like what you can find in any place, in any country, you'll find a place that is has issues, and at other places that have no issues. It looks like you have something to add.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years back, the conditions of Pakistan were too bad. But, you know, Pakistani army is the 7th most greatest army in the world. And I am proud about that Pakistani army has fought 2 successful operations against terrorism. Like Radul Fasad operation is going on, and Operation Zarb-e-Azam was a successful operation. I think the most successful operation against terrorism in the whole world. And they have eliminated terrorism. It was a daily news, current affairs, that in Lahore there is bomb attack, there is in Karachi, Islamabad is on attack. But now 98% of the terrorism has been eliminated from Pakistan just because of the hard work of the security departments of Pakistan, and especially the forces of Pakistan.
You know, this is news. This is real news coming from somebody who was living in Pakistan until a month ago. So what should we trust? Should we trust the people who are talking about it from a very comfortable room, or somebody who actually came from there? Thank you so much. This gives us a different perspective. I think I should start looking for a ticket to go to Pakistan. One thing now, we had a Pakistani here who was a medical student in De La Salle down the street, and he finished, he was engaged, and his girlfriend, fiance, they were both studying to be medical doctors. And when they finished, they went back to Pakistan, and they told us they were going to get married. And when they came back, They showed us the pictures. I could not believe my eyes about a typical Pakistani wedding. Akif, please take us through a Pakistani wedding so that we know whether we can send our daughters there or not.
I believe I know the couple, and I happened to attend that wedding as well. And yeah, the culture is like, it's partly influenced by the Indian culture as well, because of the Hindu rituals or the ceremonies they have. It has like, the wedding has 3 parts, and meaning 3 days. There's the first day is where you paint the hands, you color the hands with henna. We also call it mehndi. Henna is the name of the material, the powder we use for coloring the hands. The women usually do that, not men. Then the second day is the marriage day, where you exchange the rings and so forth. And the third day is reception. We call it walima, where the guy, the girl's family come to the guy's place and they dine together. So this is divided here. Now, on the point of what you see in the pictures,
Yes.
it's very fancy, it's very luxurious as well, but it also depends like whatever is according to your budget. So, but sometimes it's usual that mostly people are in debt because of the weddings, because it exceeds their limits. So, but it's a celebration, and the value is this, that there's a difference between a funeral and a wedding. So because of that, people are really dressed up with fancy clothes and all jewelry and so forth. And there's a lot of music and a bit of dancing.
And somebody said a what?
Yes, oh sorry, there's food. Cuisine is supposed to be the best of best.
And the feast goes on for more than 1 day. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct in a sense that the wedding has 3 sections. So first day is henna, second day is your real wedding, and on the third day, if you want to have, you can have reception.
Okay. There's still a lot that I don't get yet. Where does all this money come from? Because obviously you attend the wedding of the person I was referring to. You know, there was gold everywhere in every picture I saw, on the face, on the arms, on the legs, on the clothes, and on the tables, on the carpets. It was gold everywhere. Where does all this money come from?
Generally, it's the guy's parents who invest in the wedding. But if you're already earning and you're a professional, you may add a bit to that. But usually the culture or the tradition in Pakistan is that the parents take care of the wedding and all the expenses. And if you're earning, of course, you will add you will chip in whatever you have. But generally, it's the case.
Are you married?
Thanks God I'm not.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, how was it when you got married? Would you consider yourself upper class, middle class, or low class? And if so, what does this mean when you get married, when you look for your bride? Because obviously, you're the one who's going to spend, primarily. Your family is going to spend, not the bride's family.
I have been so lucky that I'm just 29 now, and still my parents are paying for me for my studies.
That's good. That's a blessing.
And, what usually happens in Pakistan, the young guys, single persons, are so much courageous and enthusiastic about their marriage. As they work, they try to save money for their bride, because they likes to keep their brides more happy and try to fulfill her desires. So right now I don't have any plan, because I saw a marriage recently when I was just on 27th of December, when I was just preparing myself, because I had a flight on 4th January. And I was invited in one marriage. And there I could see that people invest so much money, and it was in my family. like he just mentioned that there are three sections of. First one is Ras Mehina. Understand? There people comes and they use that mehndi. And the next day, the real marriage day, the bridegroom come with his family from far place or from wherever. And they come and they just perform the nikah, we call it in English we said marriage, but in Urdu we say that it's nikah. And a pastor comes and just perform the rituals. Okay? And after that, the next day, walima, where the families get together and they eat food together. These are the three sections. And there are other sections also, like the next day when bride has gone to the place, okay, and the people will go from the bride's house, they will go and bring her back. That is called maklava.
Okay, is there anybody who struggles to get married because they cannot afford these expenses?
Yeah, there a sad fact is this, that some families like they expect dowry, dowry. That they expect that we want this, we want this. This is not good, but it's changing. This trend is changing now, because as the education is coming in, this trend is changing, because it was very old trend. But now it's changing. But you can marry, you can sit together and discuss the matters, and you can just do everything, arrange everything in whatever the budget you are.
Okay. I think you wanted to add something.
Yes. For the people who cannot, really afford a lot of things, what they do is they usually have a short-term engagement, like for 3 months or something, just small house kind of party, and they officiate the thing by a pastor or so forth. And then after 3 months, they just go straight into marriage, or church, or wherever they have planned it. And that's the way to really concise all what they would have been spending. So people can do that. And sometimes even people jump directly into marriage. No early engagements.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. At least the pressure is not like I was talking to somebody in Uganda who had been, and he was like church elder. He has been living with his fiancée for a number of years, and I asked him, why would you continue living together without getting married? And he said, dowry, brother, dowry. I can't get the dowry. It is just so much that I've been working my whole life, and now they had children, and he said, I don't know if I will ever get married because it's just too expensive. At least in this case, you can make some arrangements.
Yes, you can make arrangements, but there are some typical ways of doing it, and they really want the dowry. So there is no way out. But you manage it on the level of the family you are getting related to. So if you're middle class, the other family is middle class, so their demands will be lower. But if you're already really rich and so forth, oh my, you're going to give, I don't know, bungalows or cars or so forth. So it depends. But due to education and due to the change of mentality, it has changing that, no, we just need your girl. She's like a daughter to us. And if you want to give something, that's yours. We do not demand anything. So the way it's done, it's being changed.
Interesting. I like that change. The next question goes to you, Akif, because you've been here longer than Arik, if that's correct, Arik? Yes. You've been here longer than him, so you'll address this question better than him, I think. I hope you have visited the Philippines more than just going to the market, right?
Right.
What are the places you've visited so far?
I think there were, Laguna is really big, but I went to 2 churches there. Then Manila, Makati, Marikina, then Tagaytay, of course. Palawan, thank you.
Okay.
And yeah, I think Palawan's the furthest I went, I think.
Very good, very good.
Right.
So, what is the difference that you have seen between the Filipino culture and, if we can look at the bigger picture, because, Filipino culture is broad, but, some of the features you find here, how people relate to one another and how people relate to each other in Pakistan. What is the difference that has been constantly seen in your eyes?
Right. I think the part that I admire in contrast to Pakistan, is that people are really patient. How I say that? When you go to the, or when you travel, nobody in the bus will tell the bus driver to move, or let's go. It's been 30 minutes, we're waiting in the bus. In Pakistan, this is not possible. I would be fighting with the driver, and I might make him to drive, you know.
Oh, wow.
So I'll be just, from the back seat, I'll be just shouting, let's go, let's go, let's go. What's the wait? Right, but in the Philippines, it was totally different for me because, and when I came here and when I met one of my friends here, he told me, you never tell a driver to move, right? Because it's not like that, and they do not do it this way. And I was really happy with that. At least they are really patient in those. The other one is the difference. In Pakistan, you will not see couples hanging out, like holding hands or cuddling or something, or putting the hand on the shoulder and so forth. It's totally unusual. Very few cases you will see somebody holding a hand. Wow. Probably in a city or in a mall or in a cafe. Wow. But normally, locally, you can never see that. Wow. It's maybe a really old person or 40s or a married couple might be holding his wife's hand for some reason. It's fine. It's acceptable. But how you see it in the buses, locally, I've seen it here. Ooh, no way. No way. And the third feature, I think, is not to offense, but what I've seen when I was living in Salitrana for a while, and or locally, is that the drinking they have as a tradition, and they sing in the night, karaoke, and so forth. This is not, we can sing in Pakistan, but drinking is not open. It's illegal because of the Islamic tradition and the culture and the state. So because of that, this is really different for me.
And the singing
Singing is
Pakistani
fine.
don't sing out
we-
loud at night?
No, we have out loud in night, not publicly, but just somewhere else, I think. But we have a rich tradition of singing music, and yeah.
Okay. I know his voice is itching here. Something you have discovered in just 1 month of being in the Philippines that is different from Pakistan.
The people are so loving. And most amazing thing I found that everyone here is work. Like ladies are most working than in Pakistan. What happens in Pakistan? Yes, the trend is changing now. Even ladies are now working. They are just holding a nursing department and even now ladies are becoming lawyers. They go and sit into the courts, and the trends are changing. But in Pakistan, men mostly do work, not ladies. They like to stay at home and do all the household work. Yes.
How about driving? I remember not long time ago, it's like there was the issue of driving in Pakistan, with women driving. Is this allowed for women to drive in Pakistan?
I never heard that, but yeah.
You see the news.
Yeah. Nahi, I have in touch with media so much. For last 10 to 15 years, I have been in touch with media because it's very necessary, because the circumstances which I have seen for last 10 years was too much offensive. But yes, ladies are just driving. They are allowed to drive. Recently, you heard about Saudi Arabia. They allowed Saudi Arabia. Now ladies can drive there.
Wow.
Before that, ladies were not allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia.
Amazing. See, these things that we take for granted. You see a Filipina driving, it's like, you don't even know that it's a woman or man. It doesn't really matter. And the other people, they have to pass a law for them to drive. Let's go to the next question. What is something that you've seen here at IAS that would be completely unacceptable in Pakistan? That means if we have Pakistani families that have just arrived from Pakistan, make sure you don't do this, otherwise they will run away from you.
I don't think they will run away or anything. I think two aspects of one is the church life. Uh, Speaking locally for local people, because I come from the campus kind of background, like IS, so I've studied there, lived there as well. Locally is like, uh, as compared to IS, because it poses, right, directly. So explicitly is this, that you cannot wear shorts in the church, as if, like I have actually seen here in IS. So locally you go to people, villages, remote areas, or even some of the good churches in the city, you will not see anybody, because one thing is the Islamic tradition, so it's natural, it's by default, we also like it, that we have long shirts and so forth. But uh, to show the balance also here, that there's a trend of the fashion as well, you might see some ladies with sleeveless in the church
In Pakistan?
in Pakistan.
Wow.
So it depends. It depends. It has become relative, but it depends what church are you in, what area are you in, what society, and that's something. But shorts or like skirts, it's totally off the. It's a cultural dress thing. It's not there. Second, I will just overlap it just to mention that there's the hugging and the so forth kind of thing that we see in IS church. So I'm just speaking in the perspective of the church. It's not there because even if the couple sit together, they're just sitting together, and the intimacy is for the room, for the house. That's one thing. And for the students, there's segregation. So all the girls sit on one side, and all the boys sit on one side. And all the ladies, so to say, not just students and men. Even if you're, in some churches, even if you're a couple, your wife is sitting in another hall, or in the same hall, but in another pew or column, and you are sitting somewhere else. And that's very Protestant way of doing it. Even in the campus, in the seminary, students are totally separated. They're segregated. So, but the faculty sits together, their family sits together, but not. There's that.
Interesting, interesting. Anything else you have seen here at IS in the last 4 weeks you've been here that you feel like, okay, this is really not too good as far as Pakistan is concerned?
No, no comments on that. Actually, he summarized well.
Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's continue then on another question. There is no society where people don't have a conflict. One of my brothers used to tell me, if you don't want to have a conflict with somebody, don't live with that person. So the fact that we live in a community, there will always be a moment where we are in a conflict. How is conflict resolved in most of Pakistan, parts of Pakistan? Do people just have to fight it off and, after somebody bleeds, that's the end? Or do you have to pay maybe a cow? How is it? How is it resolved?
In Pakistan, the family system is very strong. If they try their best to solve the conflicts in family, but if it's not controllable, then there is system called panchayat in most of the village area. They go and sit together, and there's one, the most elder one of the village area is called Chaudhary, and he conduct that meeting. And even in that, it is uncontrollable. Then obviously you have a judiciary system in Pakistan, like local courts, high courts, then Supreme Court. So then the problems and conflicts just solved there.
Okay. What if it is just among the brethren? Let's say I have a conflict with my student. And I'm sure you have been in that situation, hopefully not, where there was a conflict between a faculty and a student, a church pastor and a church member, or a brother and a sister in Christ. How do they address it face to face? Do they look for somebody who is more objective, somebody older, somebody younger? How is that?
Normally, since you gave like 4 examples out of that, student, faculty, church member, sister, so forth.
They're all different.
Of course. But of course, in essence, it's like the high context and the low context culture. So I believe we're the high context, that everything that is communicated is implicit. It's not explicit. It's not like the Western style. I don't like you, just on the face. I will make a lot of beating around the bush kind of statements to make the other person understand that I do not like you, or so forth. So for a student-teacher relationship, I think the teacher might just fail you. The usual way of grudging it out.
Oh, really?
Right? But let's say if there is a conflict in all these scenarios, I think usually it's not explicit. They do not talk face to face. It's very rare. They're talking to their friends, and somewhere there, somewhere here, somewhere to the administration. And then at the end of the day, the admin gets to know, oh, okay, so they're having issues, let's talk to them. Right? So it might end up at talking with them later on. But in the start, if I have an issue with you, I might not even say to you. I will be just talking behind your back. It's norm. It's the norm. And later on, it will be resolved, hopefully. But I think the level of grudge is really strong, depending on the conflict, the nature of conflict. But usually, it's hard.
So why is it that people will not go straight to the brother or the sister who has offended them?
I do not know. But I think it's, again, by default, it's the high context culture, because I am not open in a sense that I will just say straight on your face something. I'll just keep it. I'll not express. Just like it's fascinating. The Philippines has the same way of doing it. They are expressive, but they will not just straightly say it to you. Or they'll try to sacrifice something so that you might understand that you're wrong, but they will not say it. You get me?
What if I came to you, I'm a foreigner, you have offended me, and I say, Akif, remember the other day we were lining up for the bank and you came and you cut off, man, I was really upset with you, man. How does that make you feel?
I think my response to you will be actually open. Because if it is me personally, because in the campus, the culture is just like Philippines and then IS. IS is totally different. Another culture lives here. So it's the same for me. I think I'll be open to you. I will be saying, oh, sorry. But let's just say, speaking generally, I might keep something, a portion of our conflict in my heart. That, you did something to me, remember? And I might use it some later argument. I don't know. Yeah.
Anything you want to add to this? How have you ever had any conflict with anyone? And if so, how did you address that? How did you solve that?
Conflicts in my life, maybe many with friends, but I always have the tendency to go, and if I am wrong, to say to the person, man, I'm wrong, I apologize to you, and the things get solved. But
Somebody else that offended you.
That I try to sort out that where I am wrong. I try to sort out where I am wrong. But if even that person is not accepting my apology, for my own satisfaction, it is good for me that I have confessed. This is and many people do that. Many people in Pakistan try to do and finish the things. But if it is not, like, you must avoid religious conflicts in Pakistan. That is very common. You must not say anything to Muslims. Because even a Pakistani family is living outside. Usually, you can see them in IS also. Oh, they were having the same kind of thing. They were just worshipping, and the Pathan people don't like that. They just tried to stop them, and they said, no, we are just worshipping our Lord. And just that conflict rose, and they have to leave the country. It's not common in every side, but it's common in tribal areas, like where Afghanistan is near, and the people, those who are living on Peshawar and Fata, Gilgit-Baltistan, these kind of areas are bit like that. But where I am living, we are allowed to worship freely, independently, and there is no prejudice about that. Christians are allowed. Even Adventist churches, they arrange worships on Saturday, even though this is not a normal holiday. But still, Adventist people arrange worships and conduct churches.
That's interesting. That means Pakistan has a part where Christians will have the free worship and not have too much of confrontation, and the other places where you really have to watch for yourself. And yes, I know the situation of the family you have just shared with me. They shared with me actually live videos they took live after the bomb that was dropped in the church, and they could really see the chaos happening. It is unbelievable. And this actually helps us to appreciate the freedom that we face here in the Philippines, where you can even stand in the bus and start praying to whichever God you believe in. You can pray, and nobody will be moving you around. Okay, we're going to the last question here. Now that you have convinced me to go to Pakistan, tell me what I should watch for, the positive and negative. If I want to go this year, what should I watch for when I go to Pakistan? How should I prepare myself?
First, you should fulfill all embassy requirements. That is key. After that, you must be aware of Pakistan, about the cultural needs of Pakistan. You cannot go and hug any lady there.
Oh,
Yes. So you must be careful about that.
No hug?
Yes. To ladies especially. Yes. And
But men can hug other men?
yes.
Okay.
I can hug you after that, no problem.
How about the kissing? Because I think in some Muslim countries, men actually kiss other men. Is that also practiced in Pakistan?
No.
No,
It's
okay.
Middle East
Just-
custom. It's
okay.
Middle East custom.
Okay, just the hug will be fine. And handshake. Can I have handshake with a woman?
No.
No touch whatsoever.
No.
Oh boy. That's hard because, my hand is so light in shaking people's hands, so I will have to zip them somewhere. Anything else? Anything else I need to keep in mind? Either positive or something I need to watch for so that I don't get in trouble.
I think when you're there or when you're going, however, religious values are very important to our culture and dominantly Muslims. And because of that, if you're going, unless you're a missionary, then it's an exception. But try not to talk so deeply about it. And it also depends who are you addressing to, because I know a person, he was Muslim, he had a car, we used to go around and so forth. He was an old man. But he was very, very open to religious talk. Very open. He would ask me stories about Jonah, so forth, and a lot of things. And how do you see it? I would tell him, this is how I see it. This is how the Bible explains it. And he would say, oh, this is how the Quran says it. So he was always open. We would talk for hours and hours as long as we reached our destination. But it depends, because recently I came to know that somebody from our division here, they went to Karachi and something happened and they had pay a lot of big amount in dollars. It was thousands of dollars to get them out from there, because the person happened to talk to a Muslim mullah or somebody in public. So religious values, that's one thing. And apart from this, shaking hands, hugging, women we do not. But in universities, friends, in some normal flexible cultures, you may shake hand with the lady if she's letting you. If you see her, usually they don't. They usually just bow down like that. And that means hello, hi, and so forth. But with men, you can shake hands strongly, and you can hug them strongly as well, and it's okay.
When I go to the bus, if I take the bus, what should I watch for inside the bus to make sure I don't offend anyone?
Or to offend.
Because if you say that I cannot shake hands, that means even when I sit, I need to watch myself. There should be maybe a specific section where I sit. I need to really know this.
That's interesting. I think the buses nowadays, they have sections. They literally there are sections, so the women has the other door to get in. And even if the bus has one door, you just go into that section and men sit in the last section, in the back. That's one thing. Interestingly, if you're in a, like we have UV Expresses here, the vans. If you're in that, in Pakistan, it's so, it was even funny for me to see that you cannot sit with a girl who's really young, or college-going girl, or even a lady, unless she lets you sit. So you cannot share the seats. And she would be really shouting if you said, oh, you didn't know? You don't know the manners? Why did you could have asked me. So in that, the value is that the women is separated, so you do not touch or sit along with shoulders and so forth. But in Philippines, it's so funny for me to sit with a girl here because I'm not really used to it. Really not used to it. Not at all. Unless you're sitting with your family, that's out of the question. But in the bus, you will not offend anybody unless you sit with a girl.
That brings me to something that I need to do a lot more research before I can travel to Pakistan. I was already excited, but now this part where I may offend someone without knowing it, because after living in the Philippines for 7 years, we sit wherever you see a seat, and a seat that was meant for 3 people, you can have 5 people. And nobody complains about anything. Well, we want to thank you so much for being with us today. We have learned a little bit about Pakistan, and I encourage all of you to dig deeper and really try to discover more about Pakistan, learn the culture, so that when we meet Pakistan, you see the friendly faces that you see on most Pakistani I've met. They are always smiling. You need to know where this whole thing comes from. If you have questions and suggestions or comments, please write to us at united@ias.edu. Again, the email address is united@ias.edu. We have some videos on YouTube. You just you just search United in Diversity on YouTube, and you'll find other programs that we have filmed before. We thank you so much, and we hope you will join us again next time. Until we meet again next time, we want to encourage you to remain united in diversity. Thank you.